You tell yourself something quietly. Real life hasn't started yet. Not really, you're just preparing, getting ready, waiting until things feel clearer, until you feel more confident, more stable, more certain about who you are. So you wait, you plan, you think about the life you'll begin one day. But months pass, sometimes years, and the strange feeling remains, like you're standing in the lobby of your own life, waiting for the doors to open. The question is, why does the brain keep you in this waiting room? 2. Problem deep dive. It doesn't look like avoidance from the outside. You're not doing nothing. You're learning, researching, planning the next step. You watch videos about improvement. You read advice about career paths. You imagine future versions of yourself. And in your mind, that future version looks calm, certain, prepared. But when real opportunities appear, something strange happens. You hesitate. You think, maybe I should learn a bit more first. Maybe I should prepare a little longer. Maybe I'm not ready yet. So the moment passes, and the waiting continues. Over time, this pattern creates a subtle psychological split. One version of you exists in imagination, the confident future self, the person who eventually starts living fully. And another version exists in the present, the one who is still preparing, still getting ready, still not quite there yet. The gap between these two versions slowly grows. And the longer you stay in preparation mode, the harder it becomes to step into real life, because now the future self feels intimidating, and the present self feels unfinished. Psychologists sometimes call this identity postponement. But the deeper question is this: why does the brain keep postponing life instead of entering it? 3. Reframe first, something important. If you feel like you're waiting for life to begin, it doesn't mean you're unmotivated. It doesn't mean you lack ambition. In fact, many people who feel this way are thoughtful, careful individuals. People who take decisions seriously. People who want their life to be meaningful. Your brain isn't trying to waste time. It's trying to avoid something else: uncertainty, and more specifically, identity uncertainty. Because starting something real forces the brain to answer uncomfortable questions. Who am I actually? What am I capable of? What if I choose the wrong path? Preparation feels safe, because in preparation mode, you are still potential, and potential has no limits. But once life begins, potential becomes reality, and reality can be judged. That shift changes how the brain behaves. 4. Psychological mechanism. The brain has a strong bias towards certainty, not because certainty guarantees success, but because uncertainty consumes energy. Your brain is constantly predicting the future. This process is called predictive processing. The brain builds internal models of what might happen next. The clearer the model, the calmer the brain feels. But when a situation is uncertain, the brain struggles to predict outcomes. This triggers discomfort, so the brain searches for ways to reduce uncertainty. One way it does this is through extended preparation. Preparation feels productive, but psychologically, it also delays exposure to the unknown. Imagine the brain like a navigation system. Before starting a journey, the GPS tries to calculate the route, but if the destination feels unclear, the system keeps recalculating over and over, waiting for better information. But here's the paradox. Life rarely provides perfect maps. Most meaningful decisions are made with incomplete information. Career choices, relationships, creative paths. The brain keeps waiting for certainty that never arrives. So instead of moving forward, it keeps recalculating, and something subtle begins to happen. The longer you stay in preparation mode, the more the brain associates starting with psychological risk, because starting means leaving the safe zone of possibility and entering the unpredictable world of real outcomes. This is why the waiting room of life can become strangely comfortable, even when it feels frustrating. But the mind has a way out of this loop, and it begins with changing how the brain interprets action. 5. Practical framework. Instead of trying to eliminate uncertainty, you can change how your brain interacts with it. Here are 4 principles that shift the brain out of waiting mode. 1. Replace life decisions with life experiments. What to do? Treat Treat major steps as temporary experiments rather than permanent choices. Why it works. The brain resists actions that feel irreversible. Experiments lower psychological pressure because they allow adjustment. This reduces threat perception in the brain's evaluation systems. Real-life example, instead of thinking, I must choose the perfect career path, frame it as, I'm running a 6-month experiment in this direction. Experiments encourage movement, and movement generates real information. 2. Use action to create clarity. What to do? Act before you feel fully ready, not recklessly, but earlier than your comfort zone suggests. Why it works. The brain learns through feedback loops. Clarity rarely appears during thinking. It emerges during interaction with reality. Real-life example. Someone interested in writing might spend years studying storytelling, but clarity about writing ability only appears after writing many imperfect drafts. Action produces data, and the brain updates its predictions based on data. 3. Shrink the starting point. What to do? Start with a version of the step that feels almost too small. Why it works? Large unknowns trigger the brain's threat response. Small actions feel manageable. This keeps the brain in exploration mode instead of defense mode. Real-life example. Instead of build a new career, start with talk to one person in that field. Small steps move the story forward. 4. Accept identity evolution. What to do? Allow your identity to change through experience. Instead of waiting to discover your true self first. Why it works? Personality research shows that identity is not fixed. It evolves through interaction with environments. In other words, you don't discover who you are before living. You discover who you are by living. Real-life example. Many people don't know their strengths until they try different roles, environments, and responsibilities. Identity forms through movement, not preparation. 6. Integration. If you step back, a simple pattern becomes visible. Waiting for life to start feels logical, but it is built on a quiet assumption that clarity must come before action. In reality, the brain works in the opposite direction. Action creates feedback. Feedback creates understanding. Understanding creates confidence. Think of life less like reading a map and more like walking through fog. Visual, person walking through light fog. You don't see the entire path, but with each step, a few meters become clear, then a few more. Waiting for the entire landscape to appear will keep you standing still forever. Movement is what reveals the path. 7. Quiet, empowering close. If you've been waiting for life to start, it might not mean you are lost. It might simply mean your mind has been searching for certainty in a place where certainty rarely exists. But life does not begin when everything becomes clear. Life begins when you start moving through the unclear parts. Not perfectly, not confidently, just honestly. Because the strange truth is this: the person you are waiting to become is usually built by the steps you keep postponing.